Hi, everyone. It's Bert from Season Gaming, and welcome to this week's Bitcast. We got a lot more news than we've had in the past few weeks, and we also have a new Name That Game with Dan this week. We also have an Ashen review, so if you've been following us on Backseat Gaming, Ains is finally going to give his final impressions on Ashen. This week, we've had some big news that's been happening from the Destiny front. Ains, I'm going to pass this over to you because I know you're the biggest Destiny fan out of all of us, but they're leaving Activision? Is that right? Is that what we're hearing?
That's what we're hearing. Biggest probably news of the week was Bungie breaking from Activision and retaining self-publishing rights to the Destiny IP. So obviously they're developing it, but now they'll publish it themselves, which quite frankly, I don't think anyone knows what that looks like right now outside of Bungie. But this is really interesting. There's kind of two camps of thought here that I've seen across, social media this week, and some people are getting really excited, saying, "Okay, Bungie can now finally, put their true vision into Destiny." And others more, I think I'm leaning towards this camp, is that I think Destiny was Bungie's actual vision. I think Activision probably had some say in some things on timelines and development things, but for the most part, I don't think this is going to make for huge changes to Destiny, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, I mean, this is massive news. Destiny, whether you like it or not, is one of the biggest IPs in gaming. This has to be worth I have no idea how much money, but it's a lot. And it's interesting to see Activision just kind of let this go, including publishing and IP rights. And it's kind of weird not to see Activision, which, for right or wrong, are known as kind of a scummy company, just let this go without any fanfare. It seems a little odd to me.
Yeah, I'm not a big Destiny fan. I've never been a big Activision fan. But maybe they'll get some more creative freedom. What I would really like to see is, them let go of Blizzard, but I think that's a whole different, thing going on there. I think they actually own Blizzard, so that might not work. I don't know how this is going to work with. I know didn't Destiny use Activision's servers
on the PC? It does
on the PC. Okay, yeah. So that might be.
It uses Blizzard Net, yeah.
Blizzard Net, right? So I don't know if maybe they keep like that going for a while. I'm not sure how any of this is going to work, but it's always good to see developers kind of coming on their own. And Bungie's a good developer. I mean, regardless of whether or not you like the game. Activision as a publisher, I just as well see them go away. So,
yeah, apparently, I think it was Jason Schreier over Kotaku, our favorite guy, who posted that when this announcement was made, all of the Bungie employees in the room were cheering. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I personally don't have too much of opinion on it because I don't really care about Destiny as much. I was really excited for 1. I got pretty burned on 1. I probably spent maybe 60 hours on it, so I can't say that I never really enjoyed much of it. But there was a lot of it that I didn't care for, and it just became the grinding feature of Destiny just got annoying after a while. The one thing that I've heard a number of kind of commentators and contributors at different areas say that could be something that's positive here is they won't be stuck to such hard deadlines on like DLC content or patches or maybe any changes on there. At the same time, we've never really been in any of those meetings to see if Activision really pushed them on that stuff. So if you remember Destiny 1, DLC was kind of meh until they finally got, I believe it's the Taken King, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. All of a sudden, that was an actual DLC that people actually wanted and were hoping for at the first DLC. Same exact thing happened in Destiny 2. So for me, I was like, did these guys learn anything from their first game? And even on the game and then content releases afterwards, the exact same thing has happened with this newest DLC. It's finally what people have been asking for. I don't know exactly what Bungie, their creative rights or what they didn't have. I've heard from a number of people that they had complete freedom to do whatever they wanted. But at the same time, we don't know. I have heard that there was some kind of bad blood between Activision and Bungie during their relationship. So that's why Bungie was so excited to kind of get out of Activision. But I don't know. I think it's still too early to tell. And if I'm not mistaken, all of Destiny 2 is still under Activision's umbrella. It's not until the newer stuff's created that Bungie has, completely by themselves. Is that what you guys have heard as well?
It is, but it's not like a verified thing. That's just what I saw being posted.
Same here. Anyways, Dan, anything else on that? I mean, is this going to make you potentially want a Destiny 3 or maybe be more excited about it or anything?
I played very, very little of Destiny by myself. I played very, very little of Destiny 2 by myself. It's funny because like Anthem's one of my, most look forward to games this year, which is basically, not necessarily a clone, but it's in that same genre. So,
yeah,
maybe I should. I just never really cared for the game. So
yeah. I think we're all kind of in the same boat. If you've loved the game, you're probably going to be excited for Destiny 3, whatever. If you didn't care for it, you might just see what it's about, maybe in news and stuff, but we'll see what happens with Destiny 3 or how they approach their next game. So big news. So that's probably what you've heard towards the end of the week. Earlier in this week, we had some other big news that had happened, and that's that Division 2 on the PC side of stuff will be coming exclusively to not Steam. We're looking at Epic Games for that. So Steam is what most people have as their launcher on PC. As we've kind of seen the industry in the PC world happen, there's more launchers coming out. Epic is riding on the coattails of Fortnite's success, and we're seeing some bigger things from Epic. So Dan, you're not a big PC guy, right? You don't really play much PC. Is this going to affect you at all?
probably not, because I don't. But I understand, like, up until really yesterday, I didn't understand why this was such a big deal as far as where it matters, because you're basically playing on the same platform, right? You're playing on your PC, but I know there's different reasons to go to different stores and stuff. I mean, I didn't realize, the whole refund system, how much, royalties these developers are getting. Not that it matters to me personally, but there's different reasons to go to different stores. I know a lot of people have had Steam forever, so that's where most of their library is, but essentially you're still playing it on your PC. So for me, I'd probably buy it if I wanted to play Division 2. I'm gonna buy it off of Epic Game Store. Now, this multi-game deal, is this all of Ubisoft? Is that what you heard? I'm not sure.
They didn't define. They just said it's a multiple game deal, but they didn't say what games or how many. So,
but it is with Ubisoft that we're talking.
Correct.
About.
It is with Ubisoft.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Ains, if you don't mind, before you give your opinion on this, could you kind of, obviously most of our audience, we don't do a lot of PC stuff. So could you give a basic background as to how game launchers work, how libraries work, even on the back end as far as developers and how they're pulling in money from these launchers?
Yeah, so real quick, Steam is by far and large the primary kind of platform for PC gamers. Valve runs Steam, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously, but Valve runs Steam. They give developers, I could be wrong on this, I thought it was 20%.
That is correct.
Okay, of the revenue of the game, or excuse me, 80% of the revenue of a game. Valve keeps 20%. And, over time, Steam has really expanded, right? They've added things like party chat, things you're used to on Xbox and PlayStation. They've added achievements. Obviously, people have things like digital credit and store accounts on Steam. And, by and large, people just keep Steam on their PC because they can run all the games they typically want to run. Well, that's starting to be challenged. And, the question arose a few years ago, when is Steam really going to be challenged on the PC front? And that's come to fruition. So as we were just talking about Destiny, it was big news when Destiny 2 was launching because it wasn't using Steam. It was using the Blizzard launcher. So if you're on a PC, rather than say playing on an Xbox or PlayStation, which is a closed ecosystem, on a PC, you have to have a platform launcher, which launches the game for you. And like I said, most people go to Steam. But if the game you want to play is not there, you have to download and install a different game launcher. And so we were talking to some of our PC only playing friends this week, actually. In fact, Jordan Simmons, who's written some articles for SG, was commenting on this. And he said he has 5 launchers on his PC now, which is, Blizzard, Epic Games, Steam. You have Origin, which is EA, so if you want to play Battlefield or any of the Anthem on PC, will be on Origin. And I'm forgetting one. Anyone help me?
You said Blizzard already?
Yep. Blizzard.
Yeah. Was it Good Old Games?
Microsoft store.
Okay.
So if you're a PC gamer in the Microsoft ecosystem, Forza, Gears, Halo, what have you, that's through the Microsoft or Windows store. And so it makes it just a little convoluted, right? Just like we love turning on our Xbox or PlayStation and knowing that every game we own is on that platform. PC gamers have kind of gotten used to that over the years on Steam, and that's starting to break apart. Which I personally think is a good thing. I don't like Steam having a monopoly on the PC market. I don't think a lot of people do. Some people are okay with it, but I think this is good. And as you already stated, Bert, it's really smart of Epic because Epic has billions and billions of V-Bucks right now. And they are using this influence in the industry to spend some of that money and start, moving some games towards Epic Game Store. And Division 2, for people who don't realize, Division is a massive IP. People don't really realize how much Division 1 sold, but it's over 10 million copies, and it was either the best or the second best selling game of where are we at? 16, 17 whenever it released. I think only behind Call of Duty. So it is a massive game. Division 2 is going to sell millions and millions and millions of copies. And on the PC side, that'll all be on the Epic Game Store.
Yep. And to give you guys a heads up, so the Epic Store is offering, I believe it's 88% profit compared to the 80 that Steam is offering. So if you're a developer and you're picturing, millions of people buying your game, and you're losing that extra 10%, or in this case, 8% of what could be profits going into your pocket to Steam, you go to Epic Store and they're offering you that extra amount that really adds up in the long run. So jumping over to another game that we continue to play for now almost, a long time now, over a year now, and it's continued to be updated pretty well by the development team on the Xbox One, Xbox One X, and obviously PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro now. Some good news coming to us console players. We have Vikendi, which is the new winter map. If you're kind of comparing to the other map sizes, so the original launch map is 8x8. You had the smaller map, which is a 4x4. This is going to fall in the middle with a 6x6. It's been available on the PTS server for some time now, and it's now coming to the development side of the standard copy. Ains, any more details you want to share on that? So that's pretty good news for us. We love this game.
Yeah, this has potential to be the biggest update yet since the 1.0 release, in that Vikendi's come into the main game, like you said, a whole bunch of performance tweaks. But the big thing that players are waiting for is the ability on the Xbox One X and PS4 Pro to adjust the graphical settings. So right now, like on the Xbox One X, it runs in 4K, but as we know, it tries to keep 30 frames per second, drops to 20, 25 often. This will allow the ability, hopefully, to play in like 1080p, tone down those textures a little bit, but give us a higher frame rate option. And people have been wanting that for a long time now. So they've been testing that for, I would say, months now, and it's been a long time coming. So, but one of the community managers on Reddit posted that this update is coming before the end of the month. So not long to wait now. Really looking forward to it.
Yep. What am I doing? What's happening? That's my PUBG go-to. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad, that they're keeping up and updating the game and keeping the fans happy. I'm not a huge PUBG guy, so but that's awesome. I mean, that's what you want to see from developers.
No, I'm sorry, Bert. I was just going to say one thing I forgot is they are doing another event pass with the release of Vikendi, where you can buy the event, earn unique items. There's going to be some new weapons added and some other things as well.
Yeah, actually, I'm hoping more of these performance settings come to a lot of the games on the X and the Pro, to where you can choose what you prefer and what you like. I just got done playing Hellblade, and they had 3 different settings of ways you can play that. So I hope that more of that comes. And I think PUBG is one of the best games that can kind of benefit from a better frame rate in general. I would, in this game, I prefer to have frame rate over graphics big time. So
yep,
pretty good. Do we have you mentioned just before the end of the month, they haven't given any actual dates or anything, right? So it just could be whenever.
Yep, hopefully in the next couple weeks.
Okay, cool.
But I know it'll be looking sharp.
Oh, man. Inside joke, guys. Inside joke for people listening. Me and Ains always mess around with each other because we'll play a game and we'll be like, man, this game looks great. And nothing really has changed. We're just, chatting in the middle of nothing in that game. All right, let's move over to our next piece of news. So a lot of games coming out at the beginning of this year in Q1, or actually leading into Q2. And with that happening, there's a lot of demos that are coming out. So Resident Evil 2's demo has released this past week. A little bit of details on it. It's available for free on both PlayStation and Xbox. It's going to be your time for 30 minutes. So you can die 15 times if you're not very good at the game, as long as you're falling in that 30-minute window, or you can continue to go as far as you can into the game in that 30-minute window. The second your timer cuts off, the game stops. And one of the cool things about this demo is you're given a special trailer that is not available to the public, just by going to YouTube. Or obviously people may have captured that trailer to share, but they have a special trailer at the end of this one for people that just play the demo. So kind of a nice little Easter egg / extra for playing the demo. Now, I personally, I'm going in silent as much as possible into this, so I have not played the demo, but I may give it a try still if I change my mind. Ains, Dan, have you guys given the demo a try?
Sure. 6 minutes and 40-something seconds. Didn't see a single enemy because I chickened out. That's basically me and every Resident Evil game that's ever been created. I can't do it. I know we're gonna try, but damn it, it's gonna be tough. It looks gorgeous. It looks really, really good. I played Resident Evil 2 when it came out originally. It's been so long. I've gotten older and apparently more afraid. So, you know.
Did you finish it, Dan? Did you finish the first one? Or sorry, the second time? Sorry, Resident Evil 2, the first time you played it when you were younger.
Yeah, when I was younger, I played through it. Didn't bother me one bit. But, it just looks a lot better now. I've seen some, some captures and stuff and some screenshots, and I don't know what it is, man. I'm not a jump scare dude, and when that happens, I don't know if it was 2 or 1 where that damn weird demon dog jumps through the window. That scared the shit out of me, like hardcore. And that was it. And the rest of the game was fine, but stuff like that I just can't do. It's tough for me because I just, I'm gonna die playing this game. So this is not cool.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bert. I very excited about it. I think we talked months and months ago, and I was kind of questioning this release, and now, with all the effort they put into it, complete from the ground up remake, I'm really excited about it. So I pre-ordered it, looking forward to getting that cool Steelbook as well, and not touching the demo, but we get to watch Dan play it, which I'm very excited about.
Yep. Yeah, so more to come on that, guys, on when Dan will be playing at the end of our Bitcast. You can kind of hear what Dan may or may not be doing coming this week.
I'm gonna
something else, guys. This game does release on January 25th. So in our last Bitcast, we had talked about games that we're excited for at the start of 2019. This is probably my biggest anticipated release. So January 25th, Resident Evil 2 coming to consoles. So next demo that has received a bit of press in the recent months and coming up. So that's Devil May Cry 5. This game releases in March, so a bit further down the road. The original demo was available only on Xbox, so they had an exclusive deal for the demo. This second demo is going to be available once again for Xbox, and this time for PlayStation 4. Now, are you guys going to be playing this one? I did love, the first one, or sorry, the first 4, 5, 6, whatever Devil May Cry's. I did play the first demo, is what I wanted to say. I did enjoy it quite a bit. It's got a different feel, different main character, a lot faster, but it seems like a pretty fun game so far.
Yeah, it's funny you joke about liking the first one because that's the only Devil May Cry I've played, was the actual first one on the PS2. Since then, I don't know what it is about the action game genre, like the Bayonettas, the Devil May Cry's. They just don't do it for me much nowadays. So probably not. I didn't check out the demo. And I'll probably be avoiding this, especially because this comes out right in the middle of all these other gigantic releases that I'm looking forward to more. So, nope, not going to touch on this one.
Yeah, I like those kind of games. I just, I find them, there's just not a whole lot of good ones. So I played, like you, Ains, I played the first one when it first came out. I never played another one after that. But I have played Bayonetta, which I really enjoy. I don't know, man. I'm not a huge Devil May Cry guy, I guess. So. Yeah,
so the studios have changed quite a bit. The original one was different from parts 2 and 3, and then they've had some other ones. If you're interested in these games at all, some of them are available on Game Pass, and even the most recent, I guess you would call it a reboot of a new look on Dante and a new feel for the game. It was actually fantastic. These are a lot more of the easier games compared to the Souls style action games that are very slow and methodical. These are kind of, I would even call them button mashers to a certain extent. So they're pretty fun. If you're like those kind of games, give this one a try. It's available, I believe, February 7th, coming out on those demos on both those consoles. So not available now. If you did try to get the demo that was originally just for Xbox, it's no longer available, but you can still play the demo if you have downloaded it. So if you want to go back to that, maybe you haven't given it a try, now's a good time, better than any. So other than that, you're waiting until February. Moving away from demos, there's if you have played Red Dead Redemption 2, the online mode is still in beta form, and a lot of updates have been happening to this. Now, Ains is our big resident Red Dead Redemption expert, I guess you would call him. So, Ains, why don't you tell us a little bit about these updates?
Yeah, so the beta is ongoing for online, and with that, they're continuing to take player feedback, as you would expect, right, and make changes. So they're making changes to progression, they're adding more story missions, and they're adding changing the way posses work. Just a lot of, quality of life updates. But the most interesting thing in this next update is that there's a mode called Gun Rush, and this is essentially Red Dead Redemption 2 Battle Royale. So it's a 32-player mode. You can play in teams or every man for themselves. There is a circle that shrinks, and it's last man standing. So, essentially what we know of Battle Royale. I have not, I forgot to check if this released yet. I was playing Red Dead Online last week, playing some multiplayer, and it's quite fun. I mean, obviously the graphics and everything, it runs really smooth. It is kind of funny just seeing all these kind of cowboys running around through the woods and through buildings, all shooting at each other. So I had a bit of fun with it, but I was getting my ass kicked. But regardless, it's worth checking out. I would say that if you like Red Dead, it's worth checking out. And I will check out this gun rush mode so I can talk more intelligently about it in the future.
Yeah, I probably won't ever play it. I love, as a thing, it's just these kind of, I don't want to say tacked on, like multiplayer things, but I can see next year at this time still being in the beta. So, it is what it is. I just don't, I prefer single player games. I don't get to play a lot with my friends and stuff. So it's not, it's one of those games that I would need to play with other people if I did play it. And I just don't see myself getting into it too much, but it's cool. I mean, I don't know if this will ever become like GTA Online big, but we'll see.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. But
it's so huge.
It is a long-term thing for Rockstar. They've been very clear that Red Dead Online is going to be going for years,
Yeah.
So that's good, and they'll just continue to improve it. But yeah, I mean, I had fun with it, but it's just, again, I've put 150 hours into the main game. The one thing that's odd is the thing that made Red Dead 2 so great, in my opinion, was the world, right? The environment and what goes on it, and that's different in online. It just doesn't feel the same, and so it didn't suck me in the same way. But we'll see.
So, Ains, one of the biggest critiques that I had about Red Dead 2 was the kind of clunky gameplay as far as moving your characters and, jumping over stuff, getting cover and stuff. How do you feel this kind of moves over into the online realm with multiplayer? Is it exactly the same? Have they streamlined any of that? Is it smoother or anything?
Exactly the same.
Oof. Okay. I can only imagine a noob, Red Dead Redemption 2 online player going into gun rush mode against people that have
you'll
expertise. You'll get crushed in seconds. I mean, geez.
Yeah,
I 80 hours into it and I get crushed.
Yeah, I got crushed. You know me, I'm competitive, and I played the game a massive amount, and I was getting just picked off left and right. So there's actually a funny clip I posted where I spawned and I was looking down a hill, picked up a gun, and I turned a corner, fell off a cliff, which the animation was amazing. Fell into the water. And then as soon as I stood up, I got shot in the back of the head and died. I was like, all right, I'm off to a good start here.
Jeez. So okay, I might give it a try just to see what it feels like, because I can't imagine that gameplay online. So
yeah, and it's not meant to be like a competitive, it's not a Halo or a Call, what I mean? It's meant to be more kind of goofy and fun, and it is. But yeah, if you had problems with the controls, they haven't changed anything.
Interesting. Okay, well, cool. Good to see that that's coming out. I'm sure that Rockstar will kind of streamline this and make it pretty good before GTA Online is still going live and strong. So I would assume that they would try to get somewhere near that. But, being in the Western cowboy world, I don't know how they can do that as much. But who knows? Rockstar pulls secrets out of their hat all the time. So we'll see how it goes. All right, another kind of the biggest story in the past couple of weeks outside of the Bungie news was the PlayStation 4 numbers that have kind of come out, and this is after the holiday season. They released a number of 91.6 million units sold. Now, this is spanning across the entire PlayStation 4 brand, so your Slims, your Launch, your Pros, all that stuff is now out. 91.6, so that's kind of insane at this time. What are your thoughts here, guys?
Yeah, that's huge, man. Huge. I mean, that's... it's hard for me to quantify that in my brain, so I'm trying to think like maybe like a city of 91.6 million people and everybody owning a PlayStation. It's just it's so many, and that's awesome. And I don't know where Xbox is. It's probably around 40, maybe, but probably less than that. And it's who cares? I mean, I'm not trying to get into sales numbers too much, but because it doesn't really affect me. But that's excellent for Sony to be able to put something out that is able to connect with that many people. I mean, it's insane. I don't know if they'll hit 100 million. I imagine they will. I don't think it'll overtake the PS2 though, but with the new console generations coming out. But then again, maybe it will. Maybe it'll keep selling after the new ones come out too. Who knows?
I think it definitely will, especially considering we think that 2020 will be PS5 next Xbox. I think it will pass the Wii, which you had a note here. Bird hit 101 million, which means in reality, at the end of the day, the two best-selling consoles of all time will be the PS2 and PS4, which Sony's doing something right. So yeah, I mean, it's hugely impressive. We know the PS4 is they just have a lot of momentum. They dominate the conversation. They do a lot right. The funny thing is, the thing I find funny about it is the things that they do wrong doesn't seem to negatively impact them, and I don't know how they do that. So for instance, they have no backwards compatibility. PlayStation Now is generally, it's getting better, but it's been generally disregarded or looked at as too expensive or too lackluster. Their stance on crossplay was atrocious. Their responses to it were arrogant, and they're still kind of recovering from that in the player space. Things like their UI was still rather outdated. They didn't really give you a new UI with the PS4. It was more of a visual PS3 at first, and they've made improvements there as well. But they've just had all those ancillary things that you think would factor into the conversation more, just don't impact the PS4. It's just like a locomotive that just can't be slowed down, and it's interesting. I don't know if I think it's a combination of games. People always point to the big blockbuster games, and I think that's a huge factor. But one of the things I did see someone point out, I think it was Seamus Blackley actually, a while ago, was that Sony has done a fantastic job of developing their distribution model and development model for regions outside of the key ones, right? So you think Japan, US, UK, but they also do such a good job in so many other regions where they sell just tons of PS4s. So bravo to Sony, man. They I don't always like what they do, but in terms of numbers, they're doing it right.
Yeah. So from a perspective on there, so the PlayStation 2, obviously a lot longer of a cycle for them, and they did amazing numbers. They were around 150 million units sold. They're no longer in production as far as new consoles being made, but they were still in production up until a few years ago. So depending on where you are regionally in the world, people are still playing their PlayStation 2. People are still playing PlayStation 3, Xbox 360s, and Xboxes to a certain extent. But it's kind of crazy that they can do that. The other thing for perspective is you can double the number of Xbox One units sold and then almost throw in the Wii U units sold. And that's exactly where the PlayStation 4 is today as far as perspective as to how much they've done. The other kind of big question is will the Switch ever catch up to the PlayStation 4 or surpass it? I'm still in the camp of saying no, but a lot of people think that it will do better than the PlayStation 4. The gaming industry has kind of ballooned crazy lately.
That's going to be tough, man. That's going to be really tough. But who the hell knows? It all depends on if, Nintendo's working on that next console or not. If they're going to stick with the Switch for the time being and just release a better version of it.
Yeah.
It could. I mean, it could really do it. It's just Nintendo's got that clout and they just do whatever they want with it. So
yeah,
swing it around.
I think the biggest decider would be the handheld market. So obviously the 3DS has sold way more than all these consoles, and I should say the DS brand, because there's a 3DS, 2DS, and there was a DS Lite, etc. The Nintendo handheld market is just insane, and I think if the Nintendo handheld market goes away for the 3DS and it transitions over to the Switch, then I think it's possible. But I think as far as like home console players, which is kind of where Nintendo was originally before they turned into handheld, centric, when the Wii and the Wii U didn't kind of do as much as they did software-wise. But I think if those two kind of combine, it's going to be kind of a formidable console when it comes to sell numbers. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So good news from Sony here. I guess we'll share our kind of last news article, which is kind of lackluster, forgettable, upsetting. You can throw anything you want into that one. But we had talked about Alien Blackout, I believe, in the middle of December, maybe early December, one of our Bitcasts. And we had talked about how this name was trademarked, and we were super excited because it would potentially be a sequel or a game similar to Alien Isolation. Well, it's a mobile game. I don't even know what to think about that. I don't do any mobile gaming on my phone. I don't know how you can turn that kind of a franchise into a mobile game now. So I am, as Dan would say, it's whatever.
Exactly.
Is that an official quote?
That is an official quote.
Yeah.
I will
Try to
type it out
sound
for
that
you
one
guys
out.
later. Yeah.
Type that out. But yeah, I'm super let down. I was a massive, I am a massive Alien Isolation fan. I still want to kind of go back and play some of the DLC that came out for it later, but this sucks.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes.
Moving on. No,
I can confirm this sucks. Yeah, so this is hugely disappointing. Now, what they did say, and I think it was IGN was reporting on this, because the outrage at this news, the developer Century Fox came out and basically said there are multiple Alien games in development, and that the other one IGN is reporting is an MMO, which really doesn't help too much. Because I think so many people figured Blackout was a title, as Burgess said, that was kind of alluding to Isolation, where it was more survival horror, more of that alien roots, where it's really kind of creepy and tense and everything. So an MMO is not really going to change that either. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why it's so difficult to just make a game that your fans want. I don't get it.
Like I'm sitting here trying to picture an Alien MMO with just like a bunch of aliens running around, just random players. Hey,
that's scary.
Yeah. Did I just run into you? Hey, that's my hiding spot. Stop.
And the MMO genre is so difficult to do well. There's been few that have been done well, and they take years and years and years to do well.
Right.
Like I don't get it, man.
This reminds me. It's funny. This whole thing is it's like mirrored back to when Blizzard announced the Diablo mobile game, and then shortly after that, it's like, hey, we're working on Diablo 4. Don't get us wrong. It's not an MMO, but we're working on other stuff. I mean, it's like they have to. As soon as you announce a mobile game, it seems like you have to announce, oh yeah, we're working on other stuff now. But
it's like the worst way to announce a game after you announce shitty.
Well, it's like when they said Elder Scrolls, they brought up Blades. It's like, what? Everyone's been waiting for 6 for like 8 years, and you bring out a mobile game? Stop it.
At least Bethesda had it sitting there in the cartridge. They were like, okay, we've got this just in case this mobile thing doesn't go over well. I can't see why it wouldn't, because everybody loves mobile games.
It's like that Ains phrase. What are we doing? What are we doing
here, guys?
Anyways, guys, thanks for listening to our news this week. That's our news. Obviously, as we kind of joked about, in the end of the year, there's not that much gaming news, and as the year progresses, the new year progresses, I should say, the news starts to ramp up. So we're starting to finally get some more news. We're going to move over to our review for this week, and that's Ains taking over Ashen review. So, Ains, why don't you tell us a little bit about Ashen?
Yeah, so if you follow us, obviously, we were playing Ashen for Backseat Gaming, which is where I started it. And while we were recording that series, I didn't play it, outside of those recordings. So after we wrapped up episode 3, I went back and, I wanted to really finish up the title. And I did beat the final boss yesterday. I got every achievement in the game except for replaying the entire game on a more difficult setting, which just doesn't interest me at this point in time. But very enjoyable. I'm going to be giving it honorable on our scale here at SG, which equates roughly to a 7. I'd probably, on a numerical scale, maybe give it a little higher than that. But really enjoyed it. If you're a fan, we talked a little bit before that if you're a fan of the Souls-like genre and that gameplay where it's a little more methodical, a little challenging at times, that's exactly what you're going to get out of Ashen. The game is not ultra large. If you start beginning to end and kind of run through it, it'll probably take you, I would say, 15 hours or less. There's only, I want to say, 6 bosses in the game, if I'm remembering correctly. And quite frankly, I know people were talking about the challenge of it, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic here or smart, but when compared to things like Bloodborne or, the Souls games or games typically of that genre, the Surge, even games like that, this one was a little easier. I beat the final boss on the first try, which you try to do that in any other game is those games I mentioned kind of unheard of. I beat, I want to say, 3 or 4 of the 6 bosses on the first try. Because you have a co-op partner mostly at all times in this game, which is also actually one of the negatives. So the co-op partners, we had a lot of fun with Chip and leveling up our characters along the way. And they can be a big help at times, but they're rather inconsistent. Sometimes they'll just disappear. Other times, they die and no one comes back for long periods of time. So that was one of the kind of negatives I had. But other than that, it's got a very unique art style. It's really kind of watercolorish looking, and I liked exploring the world. They did a good job with the environmental design. So you guys, you saw that first open world, and we kind of went through the caves and caverns. And then after that, it actually opens up to this big, bright section, almost like a city. And you can kind of explore and find items all over the place. And then you go through a palace. And it was just really neat. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good effort from A44 Games. And, from a replayability, there's really not a lot there unless you want to do that challenge run, like I said. But it's on Game Pass. If you don't have Game Pass, I believe, you may have to correct me, I think it's $29.99. I could be wrong there.
That's correct.
Okay. But yeah, really enjoyable. So if you like those types of games, you want a little bit of a challenge, play something different, give it a shot. And you can find the rest of my written review on the site.
Cool. Thanks, Ains. I mean, Dan, I don't really have that many questions. We were with Ains for hours of this game, so we kind of know a bit about it. So
yeah,
cool. Appreciate the review, Ains. And if you're a fan of this game style, definitely check it out at minimum. Maybe if you play it, don't like it that much or something, move on. But just check it out. It's a very cool game. As Dan mentioned when we were playing, I wish I could play this game because it's absolutely beautiful, but unfortunately, he's probably not going to come back to it. Am I right there, Dan?
Yeah, that's pretty solid. And that's like how my skills develop over the next month or so.
I've unlocked the harder difficulty if you want to give it a shot.
It's a hard pass. Nope, I'm good.
A new hard mode is a hard pass.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so my on-the-spot question for you guys is it's a pretty interesting one because we finished 2018. We're starting 2019. It's a pretty simple one, too. So what is the game from 2018 that you passed on because there was too much going on? You kind of want to put it in your backlog, but you probably feel you'll probably never get to it. So you're just going to be skipping it. What is that game for you guys?
Vampire. For sure.
That's a good choice.
It's I played, an hour of it maybe, and it looks like it can be something I'd really enjoy. But I just don't know. I just don't think I'll ever get to it. But maybe. Because it looks like this next year is really front loaded, like you guys said, with games early. So there might be some time, depending on how much Anthem I get into, to squeeze in a nice single player game. You like to keep it fresh and I like to try to rotate stuff and play different kinds of games that, so I'm not playing these giant, massive open world games all the time. Something a little bit smaller and, it just seems like a game that I would really like, but I have this feeling I'm never going to get to it. So
it's funny because I was trying to think, and honestly, my answer may be the same. Bert, you probably remember I've mentioned that game to you multiple times in 2018, saying I wanted to play it, and I was waiting for it to kind of go down in price and find some time. I still don't own it, and I would say probably that or Observer, which we've been talking about. I have it installed. It's on Game Pass. But I'm looking at my schedule right now, and I'm like, I've got less than 2 weeks till Resident Evil 2 comes out, which I'm sure will take me to mid-February at least, and then the rush hits, and so I don't know if I'm going to get to it in time or not. The only other one I would think of, which will get a laugh, I'm sure, is Fallout 76.
Maybe I've thought about it.
Yeah, it's kind of a quip for you guys, but I've got the damn map to the game over my toilet in my bathroom in my game room. And so every time I walk in there to go to the bathroom, I'm looking at this map of Fallout 76 and being like, oh, it looks like a pretty cool world. I'd like to check that out. And then I come back to reality and think, oh, I don't want to really play that right now. But I'm hoping that at some point here in the future, with these updates that they're doing to it and improving it, that I'll want to go back to it. And then, who knows if I ever will.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah. Mine is it's kind of a funny one. And the only reason I brought it up is because I was looking at games that I still have in their package sealed that I never have played, but I was excited when I initially bought it. And mine is actually a game from 2017 that I bought for like $10 on Best Buy sale, and it's Mafia 3. I loved Mafia 1. I enjoyed Mafia 2. I didn't love it as much. And then I was like, oh, Mafia 3, this is, I guess, the current gen game. It's still in its package, and it's still not going to be opened. I think I've read nothing but negative stuff on it, and it just got me thinking, what are other games people that have the same feeling on? So,
all right, let me tell you something. If you don't go open that today and play it, you are missing out on one of my favorite games.
Oh, good.
Mafia 3?
Yeah.
I
Wow.
thought you were
Okay.
going to criticize it, Dan,
No.
but because I was just about to say that I can't think of any other game in the past couple of years where I've heard such mixed reactions. Some people say it's like the greatest game, and it's a little bit repetitive, but the story and the setting and the music are incredible.
That's exactly right.
Okay,
I mean,
and then other people are like, I just couldn't get into it. But I've heard if you just kind of power into it and enjoy it for what it is, it's really worth it.
Yeah, the mechanics are great. You know, the story is really, really good and well written. It's a different kind of, it's almost like a documentary how you play it. It's really cool how they shoot some of that stuff. Characters are really well developed. The music is outstanding. The only thing I didn't like about it is that there's really no fast travel system. So that's
there wasn't in any of the other ones either. Yep.
No, that bothers me a little bit. But you do have some awesome music to listen to as you're driving from place to place. So I mean, it's not groundbreaking by any means, for sure.
Wow,
but it's really, really, really good. I mean, I was surprised. I was really, really surprised. I was like, yeah, this is going to be.
How long ago did you play it, Dan? And I have a reason.
I played it. I would say last year, maybe around this time.
Okay, yeah. When it launched, it was like bug-tastic. I mean, it had all kinds of problems with cover system and movement and stuff. So I guess they fixed it. So maybe I will play this game.
You should.
It's fun. I won't mention to Dan that I too have it sealed and have never opened it.
You have the collector's edition, I think.
I do. I've got a big box here, like 10 feet to my left. Never opened it.
With the vinyl and stuff in it.
Yep. There was a point last year in the 2K store where it was $25.
Jeez.
You know what we should do is just make those our BSGs, man. Just go to it.
Maybe it might be too open world.
It is pretty open world. Game. Yeah, it is huge, but it's really good.
Cool. Well, on that point, Dan, why don't you kick us off with what are you currently playing? So, what's in your rotation right now?
So right now, and basically, I kind of flew through the Yakuza series as much as I could. I played Zero, which I really, really enjoyed. I finished it. I wish the only problem I have with that game is that there's a mechanic for like doing your building your businesses up and stuff like that and taking. I really wish I explored that more, but it just seemed the game like the game was pushing me to ignore it. It's like, hey, you have to go rescue this person. They're in really, really bad danger right now, or you can go over here and call up a radio station and try to it's just weird. It kind of took you out of it a little, but it's awesome. It was a great game.
Yep.
I went through Kiwami really, really fast. Didn't do much of the side stuff at that one at all, but it was really good. And then I'm playing Kiwami 2. I'm kind of taking a little break from it so I don't burn myself out too much.
Yep.
And I've been playing Guacamelee 2 on the Switch. Love that game. Super fun. Also started Elix, which I picked up for really, really cheap on the digital store at one point.
MMO, isn't it?
It's like a giant cheesy RPG.
Oh.
Kind of similar to like Dragon Age, but you're by yourself for the most part.
Interesting.
The graphics are not great, but they're it's probably like a 2016 graphical extravaganza, but it's it's cheesy. It is very, very cheesy. The dialogue is a little cheesy, but it's tough. I mean, it's not but I haven't got too far into it, to be fair. I've only gotten a couple hours in, but it looks huge. Like the amount of stuff you can do. The map looks gigantic. Lots of side quest stuff. And it's just some kind of weird RPG I thought I'd take a flyer on, and it's not terrible, but it's
interesting. So did you skip Yakuza 0?
No, that's the first one I played. That was.
I thought you were saying you played Kiwami. My bad.
I played them. I played both of them, all the way through.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, it's
cool.
It's been a while.
Ains, how about yourself?
Right now, I'm just kind of cleaning up. I'm in cleanup mode. So I, after finishing Odyssey, Red Dead, then Odyssey, I was like open world burnout. So finished Ashen, obviously. And now I'm thinking, okay, I've just got a few weeks where I'm going to play some other games that I've been wanting to play and just try some new stuff. So I want to play some more Astrobot on my PSVR and get some time in on that. Moss as well. I just started not this morning for maybe 20 minutes. Life is Strange 2, because that got added to Game Pass. So I figured I'd check it out. Tacoma, I've been wanting to play since it launched. That's from Fulbright, and really like that development company. So been wanting to check that out. It was $5 on the Xbox Live over the holidays, normally $20. So I was like, oh, time to buy it. And then downloaded Observer as well. We just touched on, so want to play that. Don't know if I'll get to it. And then I'm glad you just added this note because I forgot about it. But I am playing Celeste as well. So finished, I think, World 1. I'm probably near World 3 right now. I don't know how many there are, but I'm still pretty early. But it's a lot of fun so far.
Cool. Yeah, mine really quick. I went back and replayed Hellblade on the One X. I played it on the Pro initially, completed it, loved it. It's one of my favorite games. And then I went back on the X to check out the 4K. And as I mentioned earlier in the Bitcast, it's got different graphical options. So I did play frame rate. Then I went to enrich visuals, which is just higher end. And then it's just kind of a balanced experience for the third option. So amazing game. Still one of my favorites. I got to play with my new headset too. So you get that full surround sound. Really enjoyed it. Started Yakuza Zero. I was actually hunting this physically down, and it's been sold out everywhere here in Austin for a while, and they finally got a new stock at Best Buy. Picked it up about 8 hours in, so still very early on. It's a complete remake of the original Yakuza game, and you can tell it's older. It's got some older mechanics in it, but I'm loving
Zero,
it.
Is it? Kiwami's the original.
No, Kiwami's part 1.
I didn't know. I thought Yakuza Zero was just like a prequel to the original Yakuza game.
Yeah, it is. It's the original one. That's the one that came out, and then they remade it with the new engine.
Oh, man, I'm way off.
Yeah.
Samsonite.
Yeah, Kiwami is part 1, and then Kiwami 2 is part 2, and then it goes all the way up to 6, where we are today.
So is Yakuza Zero is its own game, right?
It is. It's the main character's Kiryu. It's his original origin story.
Yeah.
And kind of continues on. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, I just played this damn game.
And I did play through Detroit Become Human. I got it for Christmas from one of my relatives, and it was fantastic. It was actually, if I wish I would have played it in 2018, it would have been somewhere in one of my favorite games list, maybe top 10, maybe even. Loved it. I did finish the entire game, and I'm actually going back to do the different endings and different story points in there. It's funny. You have three main characters. And if you don't choose correctly, you can kill one of them off like in their first mission. And then they don't appear in the rest of the game at all, which is just very interesting mechanic to me. So like I said, I'm playing that. I'm trying to do the different routes. You can load specific chapters and stuff, but then your save point starts at that point. And you can go back and play it as many times as you want and then choose the way you want to move on to the next chapter once you play it all the way through. So that's really cool. I did play through Observer, and I really loved it. This game was a kind of a surprise. It starts out really, really rough. I mean, it's a different experience. You can tell it's a smaller developer. It struggles on consoles. It chugs on the One X. But once you kind of get all that negativity out of the way and kind of the rough look of the game, it's really, really good. And the story picks up into all kinds of different routes that you didn't kind of expect it to take. I would definitely suggest playing this one if you're into those kinds of games. It's kind of a story mode game, decision-based. It's first person. And I think you could finish the game up in around 10 to 15 hours if you just want to shoot through it. If you want to investigate more, you're somewhere between 15 to 20. If you want to do everything and search everything like I know someone on this Bitcast likes to do, you're somewhere around 25 to 30 hours is how big this game can get, because there's just all kinds of areas you can go find and dig, and you can, once you get through an area, you're like, I think there's still more to investigate in here, and then you try to go look for more. So you might be playing this for a while, but it was actually a pleasant surprise. I wish it was more optimized for the home consoles, but it's not. And you kind of have to live with that. But it's really good. It's free on Game Pass as part of the subscription if you're there. And then lastly, I did give Celeste another try and kind of force myself to play harder into it. It's not as hard as I thought it would be. And the good thing is each room that you go into, you can save at that point. So if you're struggling somewhere, you can put it there. There's also an assist mode, Dan, if you think it might be too hard. I definitely suggest it. It's one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in the old style 8-bit game. It is just so much fun. And it becomes a lot more fun. I actually like it more than Ori, which is kind of a big deal to me. I liked Ori a lot, but I like Celeste more than Ori so far. So
nice, man.
That's our currently playing. So you
said, sorry, Bert, you mentioned your headset and you picked up the Lucids, right?
Yeah, I picked up the Lucid Sound L35X.
Yes. I saw some video on those. It was a pretty decent video.
Yeah, very much detail. I think it's really good. It's really weird how you can tell the difference between a good headset, an average headset, and a really nice headset. It really goes a long way. And the biggest thing that I'd never thought that I would like so much is how comfortable they are. So I have the standard Xbox surround sound headset that you can get, then I have a nicer one. And when you play some of those for hours, your ears get kind of sore and they get kind of hot, which is, you can't really explain it unless you're a big headset gamer. And you have like this uncomfortable feeling. You take your headset off and like your ears hurt, like there's like a soreness to your ear, or your head in that area feels really hot. With these, I played for multiple hours, didn't feel a thing on my head. It was kind of crazy. But the sound quality, the crispness is there, and I really like it. So thanks to that video I watched, I probably would have never upgraded. But it's done so.
It's a pretty damn good video.
Yep. Anyways, we're going to move over to another one of our new favorite sections of our Bitcast, and turning it over to Dan. We're going to be playing Name That Game. If you're listening on the audience, let's see how far you get as far as questions go. You can either do really well at getting it on the first or second question, or it can be like our last one that we didn't get it till, I think, question 8.
Hey.
Let's see how we do here. So, Dan, kick it off, sir.
After my first debacle of Golgo 13, I decided to pick a game that I played, that I enjoyed, that isn't as obscure. And actually, it should. I mean, you guys should get this. I'm just, we'll see. All right. I mean, I think you will. I pretty much put the last thing as like, okay, this is basically the game, but we'll see.
I love the end. We'll see.
Who's got the first guess?
I don't care.
Let's go with Mr. Atari shirt. First guess.
Better be an Atari game. I came prepared.
Definitely an Atari game. No, it's not. It's not. Okay.
So you already gave him a clue.
That's not. Well, the first damn clue is it was released in 1990 for the Sega Genesis, but was also released on the.
Now you're in my realm.
Wait. Finish the rest of your clue. And you were saying something.
Also released previously on the PC a year earlier.
Okay.
Wow. That's going into the memory banks. Wasn't Dan the one complaining that 2002 was too old?
2017 is too old.
Let's see. 90 Genesis was on the PC. Okay. Let's go. Populous.
No.
Syndicate.
No.
Oh.
All right.
Those are 2 good guesses right out of the gate.
Yeah.
I'm proud of us.
Yeah.
None of those. So. Okay, there was also an
Oregon Trail. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Also an arcade version released at the same time.
Ooh. Arcade. So you're talking about like physical arcade at the arcade. So
go to the arcade.
Okay. Bubble drop or whatever.
Ooh, that was fast.
The one where you shoot bubbles. What is it called?
Bubble Bobble?
Bubble Bobble. Yeah.
That's a NES game, dude. Come on.
Yeah, he was at the arcade same time in the 90s. I know when they played that.
I know Bubble Bobble. I don't know what the hell Syndicate and fucking Populous was.
Oh my God.
Listen, I probably
every episode you make a statement that makes me question you being on the episode.
I don't know what it is. I just don't know. There's a finite amount of space for information in my head. All right. Sometimes stuff comes in and pushes other shit out, and I can't do anything about it.
Go ahead, Aiden. So
he's like the launch Xbox 360 over there.
Yeah.
Let's see, 1990 PC and arcade. Jesus, that's an odd one.
That's a really weird one.
Forgotten Worlds.
No.
Okay.
But good guess. Also never heard of it.
Oh, I might know what it is.
Oh shit! I gotta get it. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dan.
All right, beat 'em up platformer.
I know what it is.
Oh shit!
Go.
Right, I got one guess.
Hold on, wait, I'm not finished. Based loosely on the film with the same name.
Go. Hurry up, Deans. I know what it is.
Got it.
Shit.
Damn, that was fast.
Beat 'em up platformer.
Yes.
PC. Oh God, why do I think it's movie? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna regret this because I'm not gonna get it, and I'm gonna know it. And it's gonna kill me.
It's one of 2 games, so I'm hoping to.
One game.
Platformer. Actually. Can you say that last one again? And what of the same name?
Loosely based on a film of the same name.
It's killing me. Killing me.
Because he doesn't want to not answer.
I don't want to
because Bert
answer.
knows it.
I'm just gonna wait for a couple hours.
I might know it, but I could be completely wrong.
Oh, don't try to entice me into guessing. I see what's going on over there.
Got it. I feel
No,
like Bert-
no, I don't have it. I'm gonna know it once you say it.
Oh, for sure know it when you say it.
Yeah, Goonies. It's not it.
Nice. No. Not
Okay, so it's one of two games. Is it Golden Axe?
It is not Golden Axe.
Damn
That
it!
was a question.
Ugh.
It's a movie.
All right, good. We're still alive. Let's go.
Wait, hey, I get next question. So
Yeah,
hurry
Yes,
up.
it
Let's
does.
see what we got.
Okay, so the main character of the game has made cameos in other games.
Dang, this my other guess, so I'll have to throw it out there. Gauntlet.
No.
Oh,
I thought
nice.
you had it.
We're still going. We're still
Damn it.
I thought you
going.
had it.
Main
Ah.
character has made cameos in other games.
Yes.
I was a Genesis kid too, man. I lived the Genesis. I can't believe nothing's coming
I
to
thought it was
me.
gonna be. I was like, man, now 2 damn questions in, and I'm gonna lose. It's already over.
RoboCop.
Ooh, that's a good guess, but no.
I have another idea who it is, but I can't remember his name now. The game's
Okay.
name.
All right, question 5, I think. Right, go for
Is
it.
that it? All right. The main antagonist was Mr. Big.
Oh, for God's sakes!
For God's sakes, this is where it starts getting easier.
Yeah, that even rings a bell, and yet the game's not coming to me.
There's probably 15 Genesis games, though, to be fair, that had Mr. Big as the main antagonist.
That's kind of true. That was a pretty popular name. Oh man, damn it!
I know I'm lost.
Yeah.
You scared
this
me. I thought you had it right away.
Like,
I have an idea. I have an idea what it is, but I'm not for sure. Yep, I think I know what it is.
It's over for you, Ains.
Yeah, sounds as though. Yeah, I don't have it. Earthworm Jim. That's not it.
Oh, that was a good game.
That's a good game. All right, Bert.
Streets of Rage?
No.
Yeah, Axel.
All right. Question number 6 that we're at.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. The goal of the game was to rescue kidnapped children.
Wow.
I think that just hurt. Like,
No. This is actually more of a clue than it actually sounds like.
I've played this game. I guarantee
Oh, I know
100% I have played this game.
For
Rescue
sure.
children. Is it my
It's
guess?
your guess,
Yeah.
Bert.
Revolution X? Aerosmith game?
No.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I was feeling confident earlier and then I lost it.
Wasn't that a shooting game?
Yeah, it was.
Come crashing down.
Oh God, this is gonna kill me.
Cool Spot? You know, the old little cool 7-Up guy?
Yeah, you just can't throw out random guesses now. Is it Cool Spot?
It is not Cool Spot.
No.
Okay, that's really not a guess. Go ahead.
No. Rescue children.
It was on PC as well. That's what I keep going back to, that because a lot of Genesis games weren't, on PC. Other than this
Don't
early.
dwell on that.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to help my memory. Kidnapped children's getting me too. Damn. Platformer. I'll say Gunstar Hero is another Genesis game, but that's not it. Moving on.
Moving on. All right, so this is where we start. Okay, you were able to earn the ability to transform yourself.
Vector Man.
It's my guess. It's my guess.
Into a robot. Easy, Vector Man.
I don't think it's that.
It's not. No, I'm trying to confuse you.
Transform yourself into a robot.
God dang, I feel like we should know this.
I should have known this like 3 questions ago. I'm killing myself.
I tried to make the questions as hard as possible because I thought the game would be really, really easy to get. But after this next one, we're going to be good.
Oh, boy. What is the... I'm going blank. It's one of those moments. Got nothing. I got nothing.
Go for it, Bert.
Go ahead, Bert.
I wonder if this is in like the greatest Sega Genesis collection games, because
I have no idea.
Vector Man's in that.
It is. Comic Zone.
No.
That was a cool game at the time.
All right. If these next two don't give it to you, then it's over.
I know one of our listeners knew this back at like question.
Yeah,
3
they're
or
like,
4.
man, these guys are dumb.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is it.
All right, this is Bert's
We
first
go
guess.
past this. The music from the game came from one of the best-selling albums. of
Oh,
all time.
Moonwalker. Michael
Yeah,
Jackson Moonwalker.
that's it.
Oh, yeah. Wait,
Woo!
what other game was Michael Jackson in?
He was in like that space something hero, some kind of space. I don't know what the hell other game it was. It was Space Hero something or Space.
Oh,
God damn it!
it was at the arcades too. I remember that. I remember walking by the cabinet and being like,
arcades.
"Damn it, Michael Jackson Moonwalker."
Yep.
Mr.
Oh, Space
Big.
Channel 5 and Space Channel 5
you know-
Part 2.
You know the funny thing about that game, I had it. My mom bought it for me. I played it, so I definitely knew it. That game, if you look on eBay right now, it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
on Genesis.
Yeah, if you have a complete copy of it. I have no idea why, but I looked it up like a few months back.
That's crazy. The last two question or hints were your attacks were mostly based on dance moves.
Oh man, yeah.
And this one's kind of obscure, but the main character in real life initially helped develop Sonic 3, but ultimately left the project.
Yeah,
That's
some of the
about
music. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, good job, Dan. Quite
Hey,
that's a good
quite a
game.
recovery. Quite a recovery
Ooh.
from what you thought was a bad game. Like, who's ever heard of Golgo?
God damn it.
Just kidding. All right, folks. Well, thanks for playing Name That Game with us. If you guessed it a lot earlier than, what was that, number 7? Was that question 7? 8. Again, if you guessed it sooner than 8, please leave in the comments or leave something below. Like, guys, y'all are idiots. You should have had it at number 3.
Be kind.
Yeah, be kind. And the funny thing is, I'm a massive Michael Jackson fan. So, god dang it. All right, so that does it for our Bitcast this week. We're going to go ahead and close it out with our closing comments. Dan, Ains, anything from you guys?
I thought Dan was going to say, no, nothing much here.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Just want to thank everyone. We've passed 500 subscribers on YouTube. We are doing really well with this Bitcast and a lot of new listeners tuning in. And just getting a lot of really good feedback on the new content we've been producing. So again, just a big thank you to all of you out there who follow us and stay in touch and, reach out. So thank you for that. We said last week that Backseat Gaming was just taking a 1-week hiatus, but as we alluded to, we will be back this Friday with Dan taking the reins, and we'll see how he does.
Yeah.
Make sure to wet proof your seat.
Yeah. He's getting a new couch, so we should be fine.
With the seat. But as Ain said, guys, thanks for listening. If you're listening just audio, obviously we always appreciate the listens there, and whatever platform you're on, thanks. And we'll be returning to you next week with our reoccurring Bitcast, which is weekly, and our BSG this Friday. So if you tune in for that, make sure to wait for it on Friday, and maybe another surprise later this week that will keep you kind of at the edge of your seats for. So thanks again for listening. Have a great week, everybody. I don't know. Epic seems to be kind of picking up steam here. There's a lot of smaller developers that are coming.
I caught it.
Woo.
I caught it.
Epic
Picking up
steam.
steam.
Nice.
I like it.
Nice, Bert.
Mhm.
Look at his face.